If you are involved in a slip or fall accident at work, how do you get compensated? Well, Catherine Stone from Barbas Law is back to tell you about some changes in the law that you need to know about. Catherine, welcome back. We appreciate you being here. And it's always nice to have someone like yourself on our side, because when there are new changes to the law, like we're talking about today, you can be the one to help out.
Right. Well, back in July of 2016, the standard by which an individual who suffered an injury as a result of a slip and fall, the burden has become harder for them to prove that the business owner or the property owner was negligent in causing their injuries.
Okay.
So, for instance, prior to July 2016, all the individual had to prove was that there was a substance or a defect in the ground or the flooring or whatever it was that caused them to slip or trip or fall. Okay?
Okay.
Now, after this change in the law, they still have to prove that there was a substance or a defect that caused the fall. But they also have to prove that the business owner or the property management company or whoever's in charge knew or should have known that the defect was there and failed to take the appropriate action within a reasonable amount of time to remedy the defect. So the example we always use is the grocery store. If there's liquid on the floor, a container falls off or something spills onto the floor, and this is where pictures come in, are very necessary. If you have an accident, if someone's with you, please ask them to take a picture, or if you're able to physically take a picture, because it's very important to see what that is. If it's a liquid especially, what does the liquid look like? If it looks dirty, or it's got tracks through it, footprints or cart tracks through it, well, then that means it's been there a while. And so they knew or should have known that that liquid was there. If it's still clear and it looks like it just happened, or you saw the person, happen to make it fall, and then that's going to bring in comparative negligence. But, that's why it's so important in slip and fall accidents, as with all kinds of accidents, is to take pictures of of what caused you. In other words, also, if you slip and fall and you're not quite sure, but you get up and you've got wet, your pants are wet, well, then obviously there was something wet on the floor that may have caused you to fall. Take a picture of that wet spot on your pants. So it's all those kinds of things, because it's so much harder now to prove that you should be entitled to any recovery for your injuries, because you have to prove that they knew or should have known, which means it had to have been there long enough within a reasonable time period for them to have remedied the defect.
Is there anything that you should keep in mind if this happens to you, other than taking pictures? Anything to, do you talk to managers that
Absolutely.
come up to you? What are some other tips?
Absolutely. After the accident, again, if you're able to, make sure you file a report of injury with the business owner.
Okay.
They should have the appropriate paperwork. They'll want to take your information down, your description of what happened. If there's any witnesses to the accident, make sure that they write that down, or write that down on the incident form as well. Also, make sure you get a copy of that form. Too many times clients will come in to me and say, well, I filled out a form at the store, but I didn't get a copy. No, ask them to provide you a copy before you leave the store. Or if you're too hurt and an ambulance is taking you away, if you can, communicate to whomever's with you, please retain a copy.
Interesting. So you're saying do as much as you can before leaving the premise.
Correct.
If this situation arises.
Correct.
Okay, well, again, we always appreciate your time, how you can break things down, talk about these changes, and of course, if you find yourself in a situation, or perhaps you just have questions, Catherine's the one for you. Feel free to give them a call at 1-800-BARBAS-LAW, or of course, you can go online at barbaslaw.com/knowyourrights.